Welcome back, everybody. This is the case files of Letecia Stauch, episode 5, document read-through. So the first set of documents we have are the seizure of Harley's cell phone and vehicle. Now the documents talk about how Harley and Letecia were at a Marshall's at the time that the warrant had come through, and they went to go and get them. And Letecia, of course, did not just give up willingly, and the moment that she saw officers, she full on abandoned her daughter and booked it. And it was in this moment that I have to believe that Harley realized her mother, in a heartbeat, would have thrown her child under the bus if it meant saving herself. So let's get into it. I was informed by Detective Sergeant Jacob Appenschauen that there were detectives who were drafting a search warrant for a vehicle associated with this case, a white 2019 Volkswagen Jetta bearing Colorado license plate redacted, and a cellular phone owned by Harley. Detective Sergeant Appenschauen indicated the vehicle and the phone were both located at 182 Interpret Way in the Lorson Ranch subdivision of unincorporated El Paso County, and that Harley, date of birth redacted, and Letecia Stauch, date of birth redacted, were also at that address. I was tasked with assisting the Colorado Springs Police Department Metro V&I unit with a surveillance operation of the Jetta and of Letecia Stauch and Harley until the search warrant was signed and could be executed. Shortly after my arrival to the Lorson Ranch neighborhood, Letecia and Harley were spotted by other detectives as they exited the Interpret Way residence and entered the Jetta while carrying several bags that appeared to have been packed for light travel. One of the other detectives stated over the radio Harley was driving the Jetta while Letecia was in the front passenger seat. Harley drove the Jetta to the downtown area where it was parked for several minutes before heading north toward the area of North Academy Boulevard at East Woodman Road. At approximately 14:15 hours, the Jetta parked in the Marshall's parking lot, located at 1760 East Woodman Road, and Harley and Letecia were seen entering the Marshall's store. Undercover detectives entered the store to maintain visual surveillance, and Letecia and Harley, while I waited in the parking lot. At that time, I was informed by Detective Sergeant Appenschauen the search warrant had been signed and we needed to seize the Jetta and Harley's cell phone. After a few minutes, Letecia exited the store and detectives contacted her to prevent her from entering the Jetta. Upon being approached by Sergeant Christopher Ganstein, Letecia threw the Jetta's keys in the air and fled northeast across the parking lot on foot. As detectives detained Letecia, I entered the Marshall's store and noticed Harley was still purchasing a transaction at a cash register. Harley was holding her phone in her right hand during the transaction. I approached Harley while wearing a clearly marked over the vest indicating I was a peace officer and seized her cell phone. I told Harley a court order had been issued for the seizure of her phone. Harley strengthened her grip on the phone and told me that she wanted to see the warrant. I pulled the phone out of her hand and I placed her in handcuffs, which were checked for tightness and double locked. Based on Letecia's actions, I detained Harley in the back of my vehicle until Detective Peter Vigil could arrive on scene to serve a copy of the search warrant to Letecia and Harley. As I escorted Harley outside the Marshall's store, we walked past Letecia, who yelled out to Harley instructions, telling her to remember what Letecia said about not saying anything and to ask for a lawyer. Upon Detective Vigil's arrival, he served Letecia with the search warrant. At that point, I removed Harley's handcuffs and released her to Letecia. Detective Vigil took possession of Harley's telephone, and Detective Farrell secured and impounded the Jetta. So this is another document that's reporting the same incident just from another officer's perspective. It states, due to prior knowledge of the case, I knew Leticia's cell phone had already been seized as evidence in the case. Undercover officers entered the store and reported the two parties were shopping and observed Letecia and Harley talking on a cell phone inside of the store. I was staged in the parking lot and was advised by Sergeant Jacob Abenshaw a search warrant had been signed for the Jetta and for the cell phone belonging to Harley, and advised me to seize both items. Due to the dangers of attempting to stop a vehicle while it is moving, it was determined to stop both parties when they left the store on foot to prevent them from entering the vehicle. Leticia was observed exiting the front door of the business alone and started walking to the Jetta in the parking lot. Sergeant Christopher Ganstein with VNI exited his vehicle near the Jetta wearing an outer vest clearly marked with sheriff in large white letters on the front to contact Leticia. When she observed him, she immediately attempted to run from him on foot north through the parking lot. As I was pulling up to the front of the parking lot, I observed them running past my vehicle. I exited my vehicle and immediately ran after Leticia on foot to prevent her from escaping. I believe she possibly may be in possession of the cell phone listed in the search warrant, as she had been observed talking on a cell phone inside of the store. I gave several loud verbal commands for her to stop, which she did not obey. I was wearing a shirt with the badge clearly visible on the left chest area, as well as my badge clipped on my belt. When she failed to stop, I drew my office-issued handgun and again gave loud verbal commands for her to stop. She turned, and when she saw my firearm, she stopped and complied with my orders. Sergeant Gadstain placed her in handcuffs, and I advised her she was not under arrest, but she was being detained. Sergeant Gadstain advised that she had thrown the keys when she was running, and after checking the parking lot, they were able to recover them, and I took possession of them. Other officers on scene contacted Harley inside of the store and detained her. A white iPhone was secured from her hand while detaining her and was confirmed to be the one listed on the search warrant by calling the phone number of Harley. The phone was given to Detective Peter Vigil, who transported it to OTS to be placed into evidence and processed later. So next up, we have the documents which contain the text message exchange between Leticia and her superior at the time for the school that she was going to be starting to work at for the Monday that Gannon was killed. So, of course, Leticia could not just, like a normal person, call out sick and say, hey, my stepson is staying home from school today because he does not feel good, so I cannot come in. She sends text messages in the middle of the night hours stating that her stepfather was hit by a car and killed. And so once again, we see that overcompensating and over the top type of behavior from Leticia. And also we will see that the references that she had given during the job application process for this position were completely bogus. And so let's get into it because it's definitely entertaining. On January 29, 2020, at approximately 1:33 p.m., I Commander Andy James received an email from School District 20 Executive Director of Security and Transportation, Brain Grady. Attached to this email were text messages from Letecia Stauch to Leslie Hicks, who is the assistant principal and supervisor of Letecia Stauch. The emails were sent from Leticia to Leslie on January 27, 2020 at 3 a.m. The emails state in part that she would not be into work because my stepfather passed away. Someone hit him with a car while he was walking. These items were placed into evidence by Detective Marissa Williams. So this says the follow-up referenced Leticia's text to Academy School District 20. So EPSO Lieutenant Mitch Mihalko forwarded me an email from Brian Grady, Executive Director for Security and Transportation. And it says an Academy School District 20 who had emailed him a PDF attachment showing him text messages someone received from Letecia Stauch Monday, January 27th at 3 o'clock a.m. Mr. Grady received the text via email from Harley, who had received the text messages from Letecia Hicks, assistant principal of Mountain Ridge Middle School. So these are the text message exchange between Letecia to Leslie. Leslie was Leticia's superior at the time. The text messages had the following content. 3 o'clock a.m., Letecia sends the text to Leslie. I'm sorry for the time of night, but my stepfather passed away. Someone hit him with a car while he was walking. I can update you at a later time. Sad face. Then at 4:37 a.m., Letecia sends the same text message. I'm sorry for the time of night message, but my stepfather passed away. Someone hit him with a car while he was walking. I can update you at a later time. Sad face. At 5:49 a.m., Leslie responds. Oh my goodness, Tisha. I'm so sorry. Shall we try to find a sub for you today? At 7:21 a.m., Letecia responds, question mark, question mark. It's a parent. All my family lives on the East Coast. I am trying to find a way to get there. 7:21, Leslie responds, okay, I am just trying to understand your plans so that we can find coverage. Am I understanding that you will not be in today? 7:21, Letecia responds with, yes, it's my parent. I can't even believe that would not be an assumption in a time like this. 7:21, Leslie responds with, I am so sorry for your loss and we will support you, but I cannot make assumptions. I do need some direction from you. We will get a sub today. Please let us know what else you need moving forward. It states, I then called Letecia Hicks. She advised she received the text messages on her work phone, redacted, at 3 a.m. and again at 4:37 a.m., which, you guys, it's really interesting that Letecia sends that text message, first of all, at 3 a.m., which is absolutely ridiculous, but she sends it again at 4:37 a.m. as if, excuse me, why haven't you answered back? She didn't answer back because she was sleeping like a normal person. So the text came from Leticia's phone number at redacted. The only prior contact with Letecia was both via text at the same phone number or via email at redacted. The prior conversations were with regard to getting more references and requesting her credentials. There were no texts after Mrs. Hicks' final message ending, please let us know what else you need moving forward. Miss Hicks said Letecia was interviewed on January 10th for a teaching position. She was asked to provide references. Some of the references she provided were suspicious. She provided the following. Redacted for Peggy Coleman, a human services supervisor in South Carolina. But this phone number is actually associated to an Yvonne Roger in Conway, South Carolina, per both Accruent and Sellhawk. Then redacted for Connie Huddle, a retired school principal. Except this phone number is actually belonging to redacted. Miss Hicks said this phone number went to a computerized voicemail. No one responded. Miss Hicks asked for another reference, but Letecia provided another phone number, supposedly for Connie Huddle. When Miss Hicks called this phone number, she said a female responded and she could hear children in the background. She said the caller ID then popped up redacted. At this point, Miss Hicks asked if she was talking to Letecia, but she pretended she was Connie and said she needed to go and hang up. This phone number is actually redacted. Then she put a reference for redacted for Sylvia Libby, an administrator in international services. This number is a bandwidth phone number per Accruent and Cellhawk. Lastly, she put redacted for Alyssa Diaz, a teacher at Myrtle Beach Middle School in South Carolina. Alyssa Diaz, date of birth redacted, resident of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina per Accruent. Miss Hicks mentioned that Leticia told her she would be leaving Thursday, January 16th on a cruise. Miss Hicks said she called Leticia on Wednesday, January 15th to request some credentials, and Leticia told her she had left early and was on a cruise in Cabo. All right, so the last documents we have for this episode are the Ring doorbell notifications. So these are the alerts that we have for the 27th going into the 28th. Now, I personally really appreciate having these documents and being able to see this type of stuff because we still don't have full clarity of what exactly happened and how it all unfolded. So even being able to see the movements and seeing how things played out really gives us a little bit more insight of what took place. So let's get into it. At about 2 p.m., I began reviewing Ring doorbell camera footage from the residence located at 6627 Mandan Drive, Colorado Springs. Login information was provided by the resident granting us permission to search video directly from their account. Below is a list of video containing items of footage that is noteworthy. Now, it is written in military time, but I'm going to convert it and read it into standard time for you guys to make it easier. January 27, 2020, at 2:20, Nissan is backed into the driveway and the garage door opens. At 2:29, redacted appears to be seen in the threshold of the garage. At 3:01, an adult male in a brown jacket and blue jeans appears walking north of the residence. At 3:02, the same adult male walking in the street north of the residence and appears to be the worker associate with the Xfinity vehicle. At 3:14, a child leaning against the garage door and appears to be redacted. At 3:30, open the garage. 3:39, open the garage. 3:41, open the garage. 3:49, open the garage. 3:51, open the garage. 3:55, open the garage. At 4:32, garage door closes. 4:37, redacted gets home. 5:32, Jetta arrives at residence. 5:35, light in front room briefly comes on and then goes off. At 6:34, garage lights come on. Someone moves bike in driveway. At 6:46, two people get into the Nissan. At 6:49, Nissan is gone and appears to be parked to the north of the residence. At 6:53, Nissan is driving south. At 7:01, Nissan is parked on the north side of the driveway with lights on. At 7:04, Nissan lights are on with no movement. At 7:12, the reverse or brake lights come on and someone is walking north to south. At 7:21, the Jetta arrives and parks on the south side of the driveway and the Nissan bed lights come on. At 7:23, the Nissan and Jetta is still parked on the driveway and there's no movement. At 7:50, the garage door is closed and the Nissan is off and the Jetta leaves. At 7:53, the Jetta returns to the residence. At 7:55, the Jetta lights are on and then go off. At 8:08, a silver SUV parks in front of the house and an unknown person goes to the residence. At 8:22, the silver SUV leaves. At 8:50, the silver SUV returns and two doors can be heard closing. At 9:01, the silver SUV is gone. At 9:47, the front room light comes on briefly and goes off. Then we have the following morning, January 28th at 6:17 a.m., Nissan is moved curbside from the driveway. 6:18, someone gets out of the Nissan, goes back to Nissan, and moves it a short distance. At 6:19, someone gets into the Tiguan. 6:22, Tiguan leaves the house. 6:32, Tiguan returns to the house. 6:34, garage door opens. 6:36, Tiguan backs into the garage and there is movement inside the garage. At 8:30, a silver SUV arrives with soldiers. 8:35, silver SUV leaves. 8:51, Jetta backs out of the driveway and attempts to park in the garage and one person gets out. 8:52, the Jetta backs out of the driveway and then parks in the garage. 9:07, a silver SUV returns to the residence, but no one gets out. At 9:15, soldiers get out of the SUV and Leticia and Al pull into the driveway in the Kia Rio. The Nissan is parked curbside. At 10 a.m., soldiers leave in the silver SUV. Moments later, the Nissan returns home and parks curbside. The Ring camera located at this address did not pick up on every movement. The Nissan can be seen parked curbside at the residence, and then will be gone in the next video, and then can be seen parking curbside at the residence in the next video. Some videos are not available. In some videos, the camera freezes, but sounds can be heard. There are 4 videos of significance from 6626 Mandan Drive. On January 28, 2020, at 6:22, the Tiguan leaves the house. On January 28, 2022, at 6:32 a.m., the Tiguan returns to the house and appears to sit in the driveway for at least 2 minutes. At January 28, 2020, at 6:34 a.m., the garage door opens and someone can be seen moving from left to right inside the garage and appears to be dragging something. That part of the video is only about 1 to 2 seconds. On January 28, 2020, at 6:36 a.m., the Tiguan backs into the garage and there is movement near the front of the garage by the headlights right before the video stops. Video from 6643 Mandan Drive shows the Tiguan pulling out of the garage around 8:13 a.m. A parking voucher found in the Tiguan shows an entry time of 8:30 a.m. on January 28, 20, and an exit time of 7:02 p.m. on January 28, 20, with a duration of 10 hours and 32 minutes. I downloaded the aforementioned videos from 6626 Mandan Drive to a DVD and placed it into evidence locker number INV1 as item number 150. I have nothing further at this time. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you for episode 5 for the document read-throughs. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. Hit the thumbs up on your way out, and I will talk to you all soon.